Welcome back. It's National Coffee Day. New Orleans coffee culture goes back to the 19th century when French market visitors enjoyed coffee from a stand owned by Rose Nicaud. Jari Honore, a family historian with the historic New Orleans collection, joins us to explain why she's an important figure in our history. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. So tell us about Miss Rose Nicaud for anyone who doesn't know her story.
So Rose Nicaud was a woman of color, born here in New Orleans in about 1812, died here in 1880, and throughout the 19th century, she was the most beloved, most legendary seller of coffee in the city. Her stand was a destination in the French market, in particular in the vegetable market section of the French market.
Absolutely. And what did she do? I mean, I think one of the most phenomenal parts of the story is what she did with the money she earned running that coffee stand.
Well, she was able to run her stand successfully for 40 years, from about 1839, 1840, until her death in 1880. But she actually came of age while enslaved for a succession of families who were bakers here in the city. And they had a large labor force of enslaved people, women like Rose, who were bread sellers throughout the streets of the city, bakers, people who operated the ovens to bake the bread. And so with her acumen that she gained as a marchande, as a vendeuse, a seller, she was able to obtain her freedom and then enter the coffee business.
Wow. She went on, as you mentioned, to sell coffee and to become an icon. But as we learned from a ghost story I was told long ago, things about her legacy can get twisted. That's what the experts, the historians, are here for.
That's right. Rose's story had been painted in very broad strokes over time. People knew vaguely that she sold coffee. They didn't know exactly where. They thought that it might have been a more mobile stand outside the cathedral. But from our research, she was based long-term in the French market, in one of the stands in the vegetable market there. She never had children. She was married once and divorced in that time. And her name actually was Rose Williams, but we think she had adopted the name of her last owner, one of the most popular bakers in the city, Nicaud, as a business decision. So she was a very adept businesswoman.
Absolutely. And so many have written about Rose Nicaud, but you guys took that research a little bit further.
That's right. We scoured archival sources, records in the notarial archives, in the sacramental records of the Archdiocese, censuses, as well as property records and civil court cases to really piece together the story of Rose's life and that of her immediate family, her mother and her siblings.
Why does her story matter today?
I think her story tells us a lot about the possibilities of entrepreneurship for current and future generations. It also informs us about urban slavery, which is something we don't often think about, is that in the streets of the French Quarter, the faubourgs here in New Orleans, even in the Garden District, these were places where people endured enslavement, but also met with freedom in that experience as well.
Absolutely, you're right. You know, there's often a kind of broad-brushed picture of these things, and so to be a little bit more specific and to show all the different sides. How is the Historic New Orleans Collection celebrating National Coffee Day and Rose Nicaud today?
Well, we're celebrating today, September 29th, which is National Coffee Day, and tomorrow, International Coffee Day, we have an online exhibit of primary documents and images of Rose Nicaud on our website by way of our First Draft series. And visitors are always welcome to come into our history galleries, where we talk about the French Quarter, talk about the many people who've called it home, as well as a place of business. And of course, our cafe on site. You can have some good cafe au lait in honor of Rose.
Amazing. All right, well, make sure you go do that. If you can't make it out today or tomorrow, just hop online and you'll be able to see some really cool information put together by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.